Hi, my name is Kelly Palma, and today I'll be talking to you about R. Sargent Shriver. Full name is Robert Sargent Shriver, Jr., named after his father. He was born November 9, 1950, in Westminster, Maryland. He was an activist, a peace builder, and a public serviceman. He attended Yale University in 1934. During college, Shriver was a senior editor of the Yale Daily News. Shriver enrolled in Yale Law School in 1938, receiving his LLB in 1941. Shriver went to serve 5 years in active duty in the U.S. Navy during World War II. In 1953, he married Eunice Kennedy, sister of John F. Kennedy. Shriver's commitment to public service made him one of the most effective leaders of John F. Kennedy's New Frontier and Lyndon Johnson's Great Society in the 1960s. He inspired, directed, and founded numerous social programs and organizations, including HEART, VISTA, Volunteers in Service to America, Job Corps, Community Action, Upward Bound, Foster Grandparents, Special Olympics, the National Center on Poverty Law, Legal Services, and the company that he ended up being the first director for is the Peace Corps. The purpose of the Peace Corps was to commit to idealism, even though the program could have very well have been a casualty of domestic politics. Its aim was at defeating not only structural and intellectual deficiencies, but also cultural and accidents. It promoted self-improvement, so therefore we would be able to not only improve in jobs, but it also improve in things that would help us benefit for school, as far as money-wise, financially, and to allow us to have a better meaning towards being able to know what it's like to work for school. For he, as well, had difficulty at the time while attending Yale, financial difficulties, and even though he had much difficulties financially, he still wanted to attend school to gain a better education. And that was what the Peace Corps allowed us to have, was to have greater understanding of education and how it is important to everyone, and to make sure that everyone is eligible for education, and by means of receiving grants and loans to those who have low income and are in need of it. He also used the Peace Corps to tap into the spirit of volunteerism among recently graduated college students and professionals in the U.S., allowing everyone to participate in the Peace Corps so that we may all have a chance to experience an education. Let's see. Later, Shriver then becomes the first agency director for Office of Economic Opportunity, also abbreviated as OEO, another rhetorical piece that was more idealism than substance. It provided job training, work-study programs, loans and grants to poor farmers, and domestic volunteer service that went along with the local government and community. It ended up later in 1968. His career took a dramatic turn. He moved from the OEO to an ambassador in France, where he served in Nixon's administration until 1970. 2 years afterwards, which it only lasted for a quite short some time for whatever reason he chose for it to be that way, he ended up running for vice president along with George McGovern to run against Nixon and and along with the person that was also running with him as vice president, which I believe is Vice President Spiro Agnew. Unfortunately, they weren't able to win the election, so that caused a different turn. And since the 1980s, Shriver has continued inspiring liberal idealism through his work with the Special Olympics International and the Washington, D.C.'s law firm of Fry, Frank, Harris, Shriver, and Jacobson. So today he still continues to work along with the fact of idealism, and idealism pretty much played an important role to him during his public service because he believed that we can all that we could all believe in something great, and he wanted us all to obtain the greatness of education. And through his public service, he went about and obtained all of those, was able to obtain such works for everyone to make sure that we can have education. For the Peace Corps, actually went and it established strong relationships in countries like in Asia, Africa, Latin America, and especially in the Middle East. For those who are mostly third world countries or countries that don't seem to have enough of what America has, so that we can be able to, so they can still as well as have opportunities for greater education like we have here in America. And pretty much the Peace Corps was what was able to establish that for all those in the other countries. On August 8, 1994, Sargent Shriver received the Presidential Medal of Freedom from President Clinton, the United States' highest civil honor, as a recognition for his lifetime of public service. Shriver currently lives in Potomac, Maryland, with his wife and niece, and they have 5 children: Robert Sargent Shriver III, Maria Shriver, Timothy Shriver, Mark Shriver, and Anthony Shriver. And to me, I have a great appreciation for what Robert Shriver was able to do for our country. For he was able to to put into effect the idea of idealism, and how it created such a program such as the Peace Corps to help those in need of being able to receive education. For he truly believed that education was the most important thing for us to have, and he devoted his entire life to service of others. And I feel that that is a great thing to do because it is a selfless act, and like Christ, it is a Christ-like attitude for us to have. And he is truly a great example of being selfless and putting others before himself. And I feel that he has accomplished so much in what he's done. He's done so many great things for our country and devoted his life to his country. And that's all I have for the presentation. I hope you all enjoy, and I will attach a small information about him in this presentation.